Last season, Luton Town ended their 31-year wait to be a Premier League club, completing their journey from non-league to the top flight inside 10 incredible seasons. At the time of recording, Luton currently sits in the relegation zone of the Premier League, but has probably been the best of the promoted sides in my opinion. In today's video, we will take over Luton Town in FM24 to see if I can keep them in the Premier League and where I can take them inside 5 seasons. So let's get into it. Looking at this Luton team for season number 1, I actually don't think this squad is too bad. Key players for us this season are going to be free transfer signing 𝗪𝗪𝗡𝗘, striker 𝗪𝗪𝗘𝗬𝗑, and incoming 𝗪𝗪𝗘𝗪𝗘𝗡, who I expect to play a key role this season. Tactic wise, as we are playing as Luton, I do want to have a 5 at the back formation. So we will be using 𝗕𝗪𝗪𝗘𝗡 tactic for the video, which looks like this in game. Once the players get put into the tactic, this is how we will be attacking the season. Competitions wise, we will be competing on 3 fronts this season, but our main aim will be survival in the Premier League. But looking at the pre-season odds, it is not pretty reading, as we've got title odds of 1,000 to 1 and we are predicted to finish stone dead last. Flash forward to the end of the season, and I would say season number 1 with Luton has been a major success. In the Carabao Cup, we crashed out to Championship side Leeds on penalties, but this competition was far from our priority this season. In the FA Cup, we took a replay to beat National League side 𝗪𝗪𝗓𝗓 before dispatching Chesterfield on the road, before losing a barnstorming game against Arsenal at the Emirates that finished 7-4 to the Gunners. However, our main goal in season number 1 was Premier League survival. Our form was patchy at best, but we did pick up some key results against the teams that would be in and around us in the table, but we did take the occasional thumping from some of the better sides in the division. This meant that we actually punched well above our weight in the table and finished in an impressive 12th place, and with an even more impressive positive goal difference. Yes, it is only +1, but I am going to take it. Our best players this season were 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗘𝗧, who bagged 13 goals for us in the Premier League, and 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗘𝗧 Doherty, who contributed 10 assists from the left wing-back position. However, Premier League survival means that I will have £30 million to improve this side moving into season number 2, so let's get wheeling and dealing. Lots of money moved around in this summer window, with us being able to generate an additional £30 million in transfer budget through player sales. 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗘𝗬 departed the club for Wolves for £15.5 million and was followed out of the door by 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗑𝗘𝗬, who joined relegated Sheffield United for an initial £14 million. This meant that I had a new transfer kitty of £60 million, and I went to work improving this squad. First up, we signed Aniel Ahmedhlozic from Sheffield United, activating his relegation release clause of £6.75 million. We also secured the services of young Italian star Tommaso Baldini from Empoli for £10 million. To shore up the defence, we added 2 players from the Bundesliga, as Sebastian Borneo joined from Wolfsburg for £4.7 million, and he was joined by wingback Mitchell Weiser, who joined from Werder Bremen for £2.9 million. And finally, I wanted some different options up top, so we signed big man Lorenzo Luca from Pisa for £14.75 million and Thijs Dallinga from Toulouse for £2.9 million. All 6 of these signings come straight into our best 11 for the season, and I'm trying to work on getting Salvatore Esposito over the line as well, but the season was about to start. Competitions wise, we have the same 3 domestic competitions as last season, but again, Premier League survival will be the priority. You'd think all of these signings would have helped, but in the pre-season prediction, we are still predicted to finish last in the Premier League. They need to put some more respect on Luton's name. In the Carabao Cup, we took out Sheffield Wednesday in the second round before eliminating Arsenal at the Emirates on penalties. This set up a 4th round tie at home to Aston Villa, but this is where our cup run would come to an end thanks to 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗓𝗓. It was also a 4th round exit for us in the FA Cup as well, as we managed to beat Crystal Palace in the 3rd round, but took a walloping in the 4th round replay against Leicester City, who are now back in the Premier League. However, the league is our bread and butter, and our form looked very similar to last season, picking up key wins when required against teams in and around us, but also getting battered by some of the league's big boys. But the difference this season was the 6-game unbeaten run in November going into December, where we picked up 16 points in those 6 games, which really propelled us up the league. At the end of the season, we finished a very respectable 9th with 52 points, but this time we had a negative goal difference. Player-wise, the big man 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘 proved that he is still a good signing in this year's game, as he scored 15 goals in all competitions in his debut season in England, but I will need him to step up more than that next season. Another standout was fellow Italian Tommaso Balzini, who contributed 6 goals and 13 assists from central midfield, and he is now valued at upwards of £40 million. Speaking of money, we've got loads of it as the Premier League loves to pay out to their clubs. We've got another 50 million to pump into this team, and I think I need to invest a little bit more in our defence. Moving into Season 3, and we only had one major outgoing as 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗚 joined Genoa for £7.25 million. On the incoming side of things, we spent a total of £81 million, and I now think we are ready to compete at the top level. In goal, we signed French wonderkid 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗚 from Toulouse for £14 million. To strengthen the back line, I added César Montes from Almeria for £17.25 million, Jean Spielers from Club Brugge for £20 million, and Archie Brown from Ghent for £22.5 million. In midfield, we added wonderkid 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗡 from Rosenborg for £3.5 million, and finally up front we secured 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗚 from Fiorentina for £4.2 million. Looking at the best 11, some of those signings come straight in, which makes us look a lot more solid throughout, and we are truly ready to compete this season. In Season 3, we have the same 3 competitions as previous, but we are no longer predicted to finish in 20th according to the season preview. This year, we are 400 to 1 to win the title, and predicted to finish in 17th place. This was a huge turning point in the save for a team of Luton's size and the standards that are expected of them, obviously looking at that media prediction. In the Premier League, we were fantastic this season, even going on a 14-game unbeaten run, where we even picked up impressive results against Leeds, West Ham and Liverpool, which actually saw us finish the season in 6th place with 65 points and qualify for next season's Europa League. However, our success did not end there, because we also had a very good showing in the FA Cup. We entered in the 3rd round, where we dominated Oxford United at home, running out comfortable 4-1 winners. Next up was Ipswich at Portman Road, where again our quality really shone through, this time winning the tie 4-0. This set up a fixture against West Ham, where the team went off, slotting 5 goals in an impressive 5-2 win. Moving into the quarter-finals, we took on Championship side Plymouth Argyle, who fought valiantly, but we advanced with a 2-1 win. This set up a Wembley appearance where we took on Manchester City. We took them into extra time, where both teams somehow forgot how to defend, but it was a 117th minute goal from Julian Alvarez that saw us exit the competition at the semi-final stage. So we will be taking Luton Town into Europe for the first time next season, and we will have just over £47 million to spend in the summer. However, I do have several players who are unhappy at the club, so I may be able to make a little bit more coin. Before the start of Season 4, I got stung again by a minimum fee release clause, as Archie Brown is now a Tottenham player, leaving the club for £34.5 million. That was the only departure for money, but we did bring in 9 new players, including Angel Herrera, Nathan Baxter, and Luca Ranieri, who all joined on free transfers. We also added new wingbacks on either side, with Saud Abdulhamid arriving from Schalke for £8.75 million and Val Jankovic arriving from Olympia for £2.5 million. In midfield, we added some steel, bringing in Patrick Berg from Bodo Glimt for £7.5 million, and it wouldn't be a Hood Gaming rebuild without cracking open the wonderkid finder to get us some hidden gems. We used that wonderkid finder to raid Turkey for some youngsters, bringing in Arif Usta to develop as a midfield option for us, and Fatih Aksoy to be our new leading man up front. Looking at the lineup, we are ready to cook, and our team has really developed nicely, and I think that we actually could challenge on all fronts this season. We will enter the Europa League for the first time in the league phase, and in the Premier League we're predicted to finish in 15th with title odds of 400 to 1. So that's definitely improving. This season in the domestic cups, we had a little bit of a stinker, and we actually exited both cups early yet again. We crashed out of the third round of the Carabao Cup at the hands of Tottenham, who beat us 2-0. And in the FA Cup, we exited in the fifth round at the hands of Manchester United, again losing 2-0, but at least this one was on the road at Old Trafford. However, in the Premier League, we very much followed on from last season's successes and put in some superb performances, even beating Manchester United, Spurs and Manchester City on the way to a consecutive 6th place finish, this time with 64 points. However, we were also representing the Premier League in Europe, making our Europa League debut. In the league phase, we were handed fixtures against Celtic, Viktoria Plzen, Maccabi Tel Aviv, Lazio, Sheriff, Bodo Glimt, Fiorentina and Galatasaray. In short, our performances here were outstanding as we won every single game in the league phase except for the game with Lazio at home. This meant that we finished third in the table and automatically qualified for the round of 16 where we would face Galatasaray again. This time we shared the spoils on the road with the team battling back from 2-0 down to snatch us a draw in Turkey. However, back home Gala could not handle us as we ran out comfortable 4-0 winners with 4 different goal scorers getting on the score sheet. This set up another tie against the team that we had already played in the league phase as we took on Fiorentina in the quarterfinals. We were at home first this time and 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗓 finished off this very nice team move to give us the advantage in the game, but to be honest, we probably should have scored more. In Florence, 𝗦𝗪𝗘𝗚𝗘𝗚 cancelled out Brahim Diaz's opener on his return to Florence. However, Ricardo Sotil scored shortly after, forcing the game into extra time. As soon as the extra 30 minutes had kicked off, we were back in the lead again as Lorenzo Luca headed home, which was quickly followed up by this 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗚 goal to put one foot in the semi-finals. Sergio Reguilón did pull a goal back for Fiorentina, but the game finished 3-3 on the night, with us progressing thanks to that win at home. This set up a semi-final tie against the team that we'd not played this season in German side Mainz. At home, we picked up a comfortable 3-0 win and even won 2-0 on the road, meaning that we progressed to the Europa League final. I was scared when we made our way all the way through to the final, as who should we meet in that game other than Lazio, the only team to defeat us in this competition this season. 𝗕𝗫𝗓 Fatih Aksoy opened the scoring for us early in the 6th minute, but his effort was cancelled out by Matteo Guendouzi shortly after. The game had several chances but ended up in a penalty shootout for European glory. Lorenzo Luca opened the shootout for us and Ciro Immobile found the back of the net for Lazio. We continued to score our spot kicks, however Lazio were terrible. Backup goalkeeper Nathan Baxter saved back-to-back penalties from Mattia Zacchiani and Marcos Antonio to give Angel Herrera the opportunity to fire us into glory, and he did just that, meaning we were champions of Europe. We will also be playing Champions League football next season thanks to this Europa League victory, so I've got to do one more season, haven't I? I have just shy of £38 million to spend in this transfer window, but I didn't realise until now that we'd sold Tommaso Baldini to AC Milan in January for 61 million. It's good profit on him at 51 million, however I was still frustrated at my board. In this window, I cracked out the Wonder Kid Finder yet again as I signed 6 players in total, but only one of those was actually a real person. Jan Uriel Besic joined the club from Lecce for £11 million after 4 very solid seasons with the Italian side. Now on to the new gens. Firstly, we have Yanis Mallet, who despite having a face in my face pack, is definitely a new gen. He's a natural in the right wing back position and has maxed out determination, so I'm sure he will develop with the right nurturing. He joined us from Toulouse for £10 million. Next, we signed Antonio Nagy. He joined from Boa Vista for £2 million, but I wanted him to get some more game time, so remained at the Portuguese side on loan for the season. Now on to my first Japanese new gen of FM24 is Haruo Hano, joined from Hiroshima for his minimum fee release clause of £1.4 million. And he already looks superb technically. We also picked up Abdullah El Taibi on a free transfer as he somehow got released by Al Ahly, but their loss is definitely our gain because I already think he's very well rounded. And finally, the biggest spend of the summer as we pulled in Andrea Minci from Atalanta for a whopping £61 million. Apart from the finishing, this guy has everything to be an elite player in FM, so I really think he could do some damage for this Luton side. Our best 11 doesn't actually improve with these signings, but the quality drop off to the squad players is now significantly better than it ever has been. Competitions wise, we add the Champions League and the UEFA Super Cup to our schedule, so some huge European nights are on the cards for Luton Town. However, in the Premier League, despite having the best keeper in the league now according to the media best 11, we are still 300 to 1 to win the title and predicted to finish as low as 13th. We opened the season with the UEFA Super Cup where we took on Champions League winners PSG. Randall Kolo Muani put the French champions in front, but 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗓 was able to pull us back just before half-time. However, the golfing class was pretty apparent here as Kylian Mbappe netted the winner in the game on the 81st minute. He's now on £1 million a week at PSG. Domestically, in the cup competitions, we continued our poor runs. This season, we exited the Carabao Cup to Liverpool in the 3rd round and to Arsenal in the 5th round of the FA Cup. In the Champions League, however, we resumed rubbing shoulders with Europe's elite as we were drawn alongside Borussia Mönchengladbach, Celtic, Liverpool, Porto, Liga Warsaw, Rennes, AC Milan and Barcelona in the league phase. We actually did superbly in these fixtures, even picking up wins on the road in Glasgow, Warsaw and Milan to finish the league phase on 16 points and somehow sneak into 8th place in the table and automatically qualify for the round of 16. However, sadly, this is where our European adventure would come to an end at the hands of Marseille. The team fell apart in France and lost the first leg 3-0, which was going to be difficult to come back from, and the game at home finished in a 3-3 draw, with us losing the tie 6-3 on aggregate. Whilst this wasn't actually the outcome that we really wanted in this tournament, it's going to be a huge boost to the reputation of the club. In the Premier League, we were exceptional this season, picking up more consistent wins across the board, but also proving harder to beat than in previous seasons. We finished the season in 3rd, above clubs like Manchester United, Chelsea, Arsenal and Newcastle, which is a remarkable achievement considering the disparity with our wage budget versus everyone else's. So this Luton team are now Champions League regulars with a Europa League title to their name and a squad stacked full of talent. And the one man who survived the 5 seasons was this man, 𝗕𝗨𝗬𝗘𝗡. If you want to get your hands on this save, you can do so via my Patreon. The links to that will be down in the description. But if you want to watch more FM24 rebuild content, check out this playlist.